Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. Today we have a This Year in Perfume, and we're going to focus on the year 2020, the pandemic year, the year that many people's lives kind of changed for the worse for the most part, I would say. A lot of people were isolated, and I think that led to a lot of issues. Many people lost their jobs. It was just a tough time. And you know, it seems like it was so long ago, but really it was just a couple years back. And I would probably say that one of the reasons that I really got into fragrances as heavy as I did, I mean, I was always into them, but really these last couple years, especially because of the pandemic, you know, much of my time at work is on the telephone, and so I'm kind of cooped up in a room all by myself, you know, and it was a way to allow my brain to, explore, while kind of multitasking, explore a beautiful art form, if you will, also while multitasking. And so I've always loved fragrances, but that love has really exploded in the last couple years. And part of that I have to probably attribute to the pandemic. Humans are social creatures and we need interaction, and so this hobby was a great way to kind of interact with people. I made some fantastic friends because of it, but also learn about all these amazing fragrances that I never would have before. So even though I was into fragrances over the last decade, really I think it was the pandemic of 2020 that kind of really pushed me into the direction of kind of going all head first into it. But before we get into fragrances from my collection in 2020, and you're going to notice a marked shift. Number one, the marked shift is much less full bottles. I do have some full bottles, much less full bottles than the previous years, now that we're getting closer to modern times, and a lot of decants and a lot of samples. And mostly I think it has to do with my loss of confidence in modern perfumery. But to be fair, many of these full bottles I have to show you guys are absolutely amazing. Some of the samples I've talked about already. Some of them will come on future videos. But first, we actually have a unboxing. And this is a sample set, or a decant set. And it is from the House of Zoologist. And so let me just get this pulled up here. Give me one moment to open this bad boy. I guess I should have got this started before the video, eh? Let's see. Okay. Come on. Ah, come on, baby. Yeah. All right, here we go. Get out of there. Get out of there. Okay, yeah. Let's see what we got here. Well, there goes the beautiful zoologist packaging with their cool little animals. I do love the little animals that they have. We'll get you later, shall we? All right, let's see what we got. Thank you for your purchase. Very nice. I love Victor Wong. It's the second full purchase I've made from them, because I do own a full bottle of Moth. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at this bad boy. There's the there is the Discovery set, and I used Rich Mitch's his early impressions videos on or his first impression videos on the sample set that he bought a zoologist sample set. This is the Discovery set, I think they call it. So these are going to be 10 mLs versus the little samples, but you get all of the 2 mLs when you do the sample. So I used his, video as a starting point to pick the ones I really wanted to try. And Victor Wong was very kind enough to throw in Civet, and he was very kind enough to throw in Rhinoceros, which I'm actually really interested in. Rhinoceros. This is a Prin Lomros, and apparently it's a take on a leather with tobacco and some whiskey and stuff like that. My kind of fragrance. And he also threw in Squid, which I'm very interested in trying, because Squid won the Fragrance Foundation 2020 Perfume Extraordinaire of the Year Award. So the Art and Olfaction Award winner was squid. And so, and we're talking about the year 2020. So how about that? And so this is one I'm very interested in checking out. So yes, I will, you'll be hearing about these on the channel. But the main course, if you will, of unboxing is going to be this bad boy. Let's open this up. And I know I got to pick 5 of them. So let's see let's hopefully he got the right 5. Let's take a look. How does this open? Ah, there you go. Okay, so they look correct so far. They are correct. Okay, so there's the 5. And it says, at Zoologist, we are committed to... At Zoologist Perfumes, our fascination with animals is boundless. Their habitats, behaviors, and looks, their similarities and differences with humans, and even their smells, give us a lot to ponder. So this is a magnetic box. Kind of cool. It opens up like so. Nice little magnet, so you can kind of bring it around. And so the 5 that I picked B. And so B is supposedly a big-time honey. Yeah, big-time honey fragrance. And you can see Queen Bee right there. This is actually an extrait. Are they all extraits? I think they are. Yeah, they're all extrait de parfums. I didn't realize they were all extrait de parfums. Interesting. So B is created by... Who is B created by? B is created by... 2019. It was created by Cristiano Canali. I'm not familiar with their work. Orange with ginger syrup, royal jelly, broom, heliotrope, mimosa, orange blossom, benzoin, labdanum, musk, sandalwood, tonka, and vanilla. So there is actually not a honey note listed. How interesting is that? But it is supposedly sweet. And supposedly Rich Mitch loved it, so I can't wait to give that one a try. The one I'm even more excited about is this. This is Camel. So Camel is supposedly, and I haven't smelled any of these, so these will all be, you know, early impression videos, or I'm going to wear them and do, I guess, full reviews, you could call it. 10 mLs is more than enough juice. That's why I'm always against these houses sending out full bottles. I mean, I know full bottles look good on camera, but you don't have to send someone 100 ml bottles for them to review it on the channel. Something like this would be perfect. You know, if you wanted to send freebies to reviewers, send them this. And then, if you see a full bottle, if you see Camel, a full bottle on their shelf, you know they love this 10 ml decan enough that they wanted to go buy a full bottle with their own money. Camel was created by Christian Carbonell, Chris Maurice. Dried fruits, date palms, rose, frankincense, amber, jasmine, myrrh, orange blossom, incense material, cedar, cinnamon, musk, oud, sandalwood, tonka bean, vanilla, vetiver, and civet. Sounds right up my alley. And then I also got one that Rich Mitch said was one of the craziest fragrances that he has smelled since Tom Ford's Tuscan Leather. And this is Hyrax. And so Hyrax is an... Oh, wow. I can smell it from the atomizer without even spraying it. Castoreum. Wow, that was... even just smelling it from the atomizer without even spraying it is something. This is going to be a good one. I love perfumes like this. Elemi, pink pepper, saffron, Turkish rose, hyraceum, hyacinth, styrax, whiskey, amber, castoreum, civet, benzoin, patchouli, sandalwood, and tonka. Castoreum and civet. All right. And then we got the newest offering, Sacred Scarab. Okay, so Sacred Scarab is a creation by Sultan Pasha. And Sultan Pasha Sacred Scarab. Here we go. Yeah, it came out this year, actually. So this is the newest one. 2022. Spicy, animalic. Aldehydes in the top with lemon and civet. Wine, plum, and blue lotus. with raisin, frankincense, myrrh, galbanum, cedarwood, juniper, wine, styrax, benzoin, oak moss, labdanum, musk, amber. All of these note listings sound amazing. Even B, which I'm least excited about, because my favorite honeys are stuff like, you know, Marbert Man or Hugo Boss #1. Like, I don't know how much I'm going to like B. It might be a little too sweet, but these other 4 sound insane. And then, again, probably the one I'm third most excited about is this, T-Rex. T-Rex is supposedly a crazy, huge perfume. Gigantic is what I hear. I've never smelled any of these. But T-Rex came out in 2018. It's Antonio Gardoni, who is a perfumer that I really struggle with his work, although I have a feeling this is going to be my favorite, just from the atomizer. It's got bergamot, bay leaf, black pepper, fir, neroli, nutmeg. My favorite Antonio Gardoni perfume, I should say. Not my favorite zoologist, but I have a couple from his own house. I think it's pronounced Bogway, but I'm not 100% sure. It looks like Bogue, but I think it's Bogway. And Mem and Mai, I own both of them. And you can smell a little bit of that DNA here, but I think this is going to be sufficiently different. It's champaca flower, geranium, jasmine, osmanthus. I love osmanthus. Rose oxide, ylang ylang, resins, Canary Island, juniper, cedar, civet, frankincense, leather, patchouli, sandalwood, and vanilla. Very unique. Yeah, so I'll be excited to give these a try and talk about them on the channel. So there you have it. There's the 5. Beautiful, beautiful little box. Good value for money for a couple $100. Good job, Victor Wong. Good job. Okay, so I'll put this aside. We'll get back to you later. So let's do scent of the day. And you know, I've been in a little bit of a funk because I've been in a little bit of a shite mood for whatever reason. Woke up on the wrong side of the bed a couple times. And I've been wearing all of my favorites, you know what I mean? Like, just trying to wear my favorite perfumes. I don't want to wear anything but my favorites lately. I've worn Diaghilev, and now I'm wearing this. And this is just, I mean, it instantly brightened up my day when I put it on. And it is so good. I mean, this is a original Charles of the Ritz bottle. You can tell by the bottom. You can see the batch code right there. And this is the original Kouros. Pierre Bourdon's masterpiece. Look at that pissy civet stain on the atomizer. Look at that. Oh, God, how we miss that. And it's so good. Aldehydic opening. It has tarragon, one of my favorite notes in the opening. If I ever have my own fragrance, tarragon will be in the opening. With clary sage. Clary sage will probably be there. Old school carnation will be there. Orris root will be there. But you know what? The Orris root here is not like you have ever experienced Orris root. It's not like this irisy, powdery like you're expecting. It's buried under this pissy animalic civet with honey, this honeyed civet. And there is this contrast of dirty and clean that kind of play against each other. The bottle is absolutely perfect. And yes, I mean, what can I say? I absolutely love this stuff. It is, I've got probably 60%, I would say, of this vintage bottle left. The juice is about right there. And so I will, anytime I wear Kouros, I'm always like, man, I just got to wear the vintage stuff first. Like, why would I ever wear anything else? If I die in a car crash tomorrow, what good is having this, you know, sitting in my, sitting under armed guard when I've got 5 other bottles that are not the original Charles of the Ritz version. Let's wear the good one first. And I have been, and I've been loving it, man. This could easily be a signature scent for me. Absolutely easily. If I did signature scents, which I don't. So let's get into this. Let's talk about these samples. Some I've talked about on the channel. Some I have yet to talk about. And so this first one is a Hiram Green. I have an entire Hiram Green sample set that I plan on speaking about with you guys very soon at some point. It's just a matter of finding the time to talk about it. I have so many video ideas I want to do. I also want to go back and rank these this year in Perfume. My favorite fragrances from each year ranked, because this is an unranked list, as you guys know. This is just fragrances from my collection, And the one from 2020 that Hiram Green did is called Vivacious. And the only thing I don't like about Hiram Green's samples is they give you 1 mil. Come on. I mean, I know 1 mil is a common sample size, but give me 1.5 mil at least. So you can see just itty bitty, good enough, but at least it has an atomizer. And this is a house I'm interested in diving into. I hear very good things from some people, and from others, they're like, it's okay. So I'll be interested to see my take on it. But Vivacious, the perfumer, actually is Hiram Green. And it's bergamot, violet, carnation with amber. Simple note listing does not mean it's a bad fragrance at all. They do, apparently, there you go, handcrafted and entirely natural. So they do entirely natural fragrances, interestingly enough. So there is Vivacious. And then we've got 4 Pineward fragrances from 2020. I did a video on one of these fragrances from the House of Pineward. I don't think it's from the year 2020. It was one of his earlier creations. And I am a big fan of this guy's work. Apparently the brand owner and perfumer, his name is Nicholas Nilsson. And he's like in his late 20s, mid to late 20s. And he is just killing it. I mean, he does his own thing. He doesn't follow trends. He has a, he has a very clear conscience and outlook about what he wants the brand to be, and he just does it, and he doesn't care what anyone says, and I really respect him for that. So the first one is going to be a fragrance called Murkwood. Here's what his samples look like. So Murkwood is green and resinous, balsam fir, hemlock fir, lapsang souchong tea with moss, frankincense, and myrrh. And all of his fragrances are inspired by being out in the forest, the Rocky Mountains, the trees, the mountains themselves. You get a lot of these green. Look how dark the juice is. So I'm going to try to continue to talk about this house. Again, it's just a matter of finding time. I wish this was my full-time job. I wish this, could pay the bills, but because I really do love, this is, probably one of my favorite parts of the day is chatting with you guys and talking about perfume. I just absolutely love it. And then we've got a fragrance called Steading. All of these came out in 2020. And Steading is spicy and smoky with tobacco, hay, beeswax, barley, fir needle, poplar, hop, maple, and peat smoke. Are you seeing the trend of what I mean of just kind of going his own way? I mean, look at the juice colors on these first 2 I talked about. Amazing stuff. And smelling this from the atomizer, this smells like it is absolutely right up my alley. Like I am just going to love this. There is a bit of a maple vibe, but it doesn't seem too sweet from the atomizer. So I'll be excited to see how that comes across on skin. And then we've got a fragrance called Boreal. And again, Boreal is a 2020 release. It's green and resinous with pine needles, mint, cedar, resins, and moss. Just smelling these from the atomizer, they smell so much better than 99% of the modern stuff that I smell nowadays. If you're tired of that synthetic crap that the Pradas and the Versaces of the world are doing, and, don't get me wrong, I have some Pradas and some Versaces that I like. Most of them are older, but this is the kind of stuff that you should really dive into. So the other one from 2020, the final one from this House Pineward, is called Apple Tabac. And Apple Tabac is fruity and spicy with red apple, tobacco, fir balsam, rum, and dried fruits. Very interesting. Very interesting, note listing and smell. So I'll be excited. And they come in this little, here, I'll show you how they come. They come in this nice little pouch. Very utilitarian. Matches the brand's, aesthetic perfectly. You can just throw them in the pouch, take it and go. So yes, interesting house, the House of Pineward. A house that you will hear more about on Channel Ramsey. And then, speaking about interesting houses you will hear more about, this is Peter Carter's house called Centauri Perfumes. And this one from 2020 is called Proxima. So Proxima is still available for purchase. The constellation Centaurus contains one of the brightest stars in the sky, Centauri, from which the brand is named. Proxima is the closest star of Centaurus, representing the hope of humanity reaching out to the stars in universal peace, discovering the new worlds, new life, growing higher in consciousness and in spirit. The scent is inspired by the air of that world, gazing up at the night sky at the wonder of the infinite. I love Peter Carter's, his, briefs, if you will, his theme. I love how he makes these connections. And this is fresh, fruity with aldehydes, berries, blackcurrant, grapefruit, rose, airaccord, blonde woods, Irish, jasmine, sambac, and musk. This is probably made for a hot summer day. So I will review Proxima probably next year in 2023 when the weather turns warm again, because it is November 1st today while I'm shooting this. And so I'm ready to wear my heavy hitters. I'm ready to wear stuff like this, which this is an all year round fragrance for me, but I'm ready to wear stuff like this, and the tobaccos and the leathers and my kind of fragrances, the heavy frankincenses and stuff like that. Okay. And this is what Peter Carter's sample set basically comes in. Again, very utilitarian, very nice. So let me put this back so I don't lose it. Okay. So then there is a couple drops I've got of this little bad boy. This is Francesca Bianchi's Sticky Fingers. Will sent me this. Thank you, Will. And so I will do a video on this one very soon. But in traditional Francesca Bianchi fashion, this is lots of that Orris butter note that she loves to use with castoreum and patchouli. I think the patchouli is very turned up in this fragrance, if I recall from what I heard of it. I've never smelled it yet, but it's spicy and leathery. So one day, before I go to bed, I'll spray this whole thing on and do an early impression video for you guys on Sticky Fingers. And then, interestingly enough, this is Dan Naughton's from Mr. Smelly Channel's Gravitas pour Homme. So he reached out to me and said, hey man, I'm going to send you a couple bottles. And I said, don't send me any bottles, dude. Just send me samples. And he was like, we don't do samples. I'm going to send you some bottles. Well, that was months ago, and I never got the bottles. But luckily, someone did send me just a couple drops like I asked for. So I'll at least be able to talk about Gravitas. Apparently, it's a spicy fougere. From the atomizer, it reminds me a bit of a fougere take on Guerlain's Heritage, but I love those kind of fragrances, so I very well may like this. I don't know. It's in that classic style, but we'll see. We'll see what I think of it. I have not worn it on skin. I'm just smelling it from the atomizer. So Naughton and Wilson's Gravitas came out in 2020. From the house of Meleg Perfumes, and this was sent to me by Nissan. Thank you. And you can see all of these samples. So many of them came from the kindness of you guys. I wouldn't be able to talk about them on the channel otherwise. But this is a Meleg perfume, who is kind of like in the same realm of Bortnikov or Russian Atom, from Areej Doré, which again, if you have not caught my Russian Atom interviews, go check those out. It's probably the best thing on the channel. He is just a wealth of knowledge and an amazing person to listen to if you're into learning about perfumes. But this is called number 25, and it's called Birch Tar and Russian Leather. And I love these type of fragrances. This is my kind of fragrance. I mean, just from smelling the atomizer, this is my kind of fragrance. Tobacco Absolute, Birch Tar, Birch, cedarwood, benzoin, Peru balsam, vanilla absolute, and castoreum. The only thing that worries me is the vanilla absolute seems slightly out of place from the atomizer. I'll be interested to see what it wears like on skin, because I like my leathers to be, heavy-handed and really focused on the leather. I don't want vanilla to take away from the leather experience. I'm okay with the smoky birch tar. I just don't want the sweet vanilla getting in the way. So we'll see what that wears like on skin. And then here's an Areej Doré from 2020, and probably, honestly, the best sandalwood fragrance I've ever smelled, period. I would love a full bottle of this. This would be right at the top of my full bottles from Areej Doré. This, Antiquity, and a couple others like Ottoman Empire. And I'd love full bottles of those. But as far as like sandalwood fragrances go, this for me is the epitome of what a proper sandalwood fragrance is for my taste, because it highlights that beautiful Mysore sandalwood absolute note in the base to perfection. It's also slightly animalic, and there's real deer musk, and a beautiful rose note, and a very unique durian note in the top. Durian fruit is very rarely used, and in fact, if you look at kind of the lumps, it looks like there's little clumps in there. That is the clumps of the durian fruit. Okay, so it's called Santal Galore. That's basically what it looked like. That's what the front of the bottle looked like. Santal Galore is floral. There is an osmanthus note, which I love, and it's animalic. It's so good, though. I'm smelling Kouros here, but I'm smelling it from the cap. Oh, God. It is very good. Both of them are good. Kouros and Santal Galore. But as far as like amazing, awesome, pure Mysore sandalwood fragrances, that is the best for me. I mean, I know there's others you could talk about, and I love some of the Chanel, Bois d'Azil and stuff like that, and even Egoist. I love Egoist in any format, but Santal Galore is on another level. That kind of real Mysore sandalwood is amazing. And then there's a women-targeted fragrance that someone sent to me from 2020 from the house of Kajal, and it's called Lamar. So I haven't had a chance to wear this yet, but apparently it's a fruity, sweet fragrance that has red berries, apple, pineapple, bergamot, coriander, cardamom, orange, jasmine, sambac, absolute, Bulgarian rose, Turkish rose, tagetz, magnolia, saffron, ambroxan, cedarwood, vanilla, moss, toffee, and musk. And, the fruity pineapple in the top, I think, might give you a little bit of a Ventus vibe for just a second, and then I think it might turn, but we'll see. We'll see what Lamar is all about. Now, one I can speak favorably about, and one you will hear more on the channel very soon. This is called Costume National pour Homme. Now, this is the Parfum version, or at least I ordered the Parfum version. He didn't actually write Parfum on here. I got this from a guy I never got anything else from again, because I didn't like how he was a little sloppy with the labeling. I ordered the Parfum version, which came out in 2020. I don't know if he actually gave me the Parfum version. I assume he did, but he didn't actually put it on there. So maybe this is the original Eau de Toilette. I don't know. But Dominique Ropion did both. And this is a very underrated fragrance. It's spicy. It's woody. Rich Mitch says this smells like a Tom Ford, and I know exactly what he means. Grapefruit, bergamot, cardamom, patchouli, cinnamon, vetiver, musk, sandalwood, and labdanum. And it's just a beautiful masculine. I mean, just a fantastic, everyday, this could easily be a signature scent masculine. Okay, I've got 3 fragrances from a house called Maher Olfactive that I have not talked about on the channel yet, but I will very soon, hopefully. The first one we're going to talk about is called Orris Forrest. And, of course, it came out in 2020. But Orris Forrest is woody and sweet. Sweet Acacia Absolute with violet leaf, real orris butter, fig leaf, pinyon pine, juniper, Bulgarian lavender. There's an interesting one. How does Bulgarian lavender differ from regular lavender? I don't know. Coriander, oak moss, coumarin, patchouli, and Indian black pepper. So, Orris Forrest. I do love Orris, and I'll be interested. I'm always interested to check out new houses. The perfumer's and brand owner's name is Sean Maher, hence the Maher Olfactive or Maher Olfactive. And then we've got one called Crystal Moon, which came out in 2020. And Crystal Moon is fruity and floral. Osmanthus Absolute, I love Osmanthus. Lavender. Jonquil Absolute, which is daffodils. Yurgashi Coffee, Raspberry, Hinoki Cypress. I do love cypress. Underused note in perfumery. Juniper, Peru Balsam, dried fruits, and amber. And then finally, from 2020, there was a spicy gourmand he put out called Treachery. And Treachery is pipe tobacco with vanilla absolute, almond, cacao, whiskey, saffron, spices, divana, and berries. Probably the one I'm most excited about sniffing or wearing. I haven't had a chance to wear these yet, but I will very soon. Hopefully very soon. I've had them for a while now, and I haven't talked about them on the channel yet, but I will. And then, I think Dushan sent this to me when he sent me the samples of Jubilation 25 for women, which I love so much I went out and bought a full bottle. But he sent me this, and I said, is this a joke? And I thought it was the regular Mr. Burberry, but it's actually a flanker of Mr. Burberry. And I'm just like, oh, man. This is Burberry, Mr. Burberry Element, which came out in 2020. Jerome de Marino is the perfumer. Never heard of him. This is bitter almond, juniper berry, oak moss, and ambergris. But I knew the original Mr. Burberry was created by Francis Kirkjohn, and I know it sucked ass. It was basically just like, you know, his boring white musks. Okay, so here's one that was sent to me by one of my perfume god people who wants to remain anonymous. This is Oud by Terence Hughes. And you know what? I have a hard time watching him because he is... can't really think of the word. What would I call Terence Hughes? He's very, you know, suggestive in his, you know, he really does get into it. I'll give him that. And I do think he really loves perfume. But sometimes I have a hard time to watch him. You know, he does this thing where he like closes his eyes and like, you know, almost dances. And I'm like, I can't watch this. So I can't watch his channel. However, I will give his fragrances a fair shake. And I know he has an army of people who absolutely adore him. And I think it's because he stood up to a shite brand who I can't even think of their name right now. They're so bad. Fragrance Du Bois. Basically, long story short, is he said, this has no oud in it. And Fragrance Du Bois sued him, or sent him a letter from a lawyer saying they're going to shut down his channel and sue him for slander and all this stuff, and that there is real oud in here. And forced him to read like a letter recanting his statement saying that there's no oud in their perfume. And, I mean, what kind of company does that? It kind of makes them look a little bit petty to me. And then what ended up happening was Terence Hughes took their formula and went to a GC, spectrometer, GCMS, I don't know what it's called, but one of those gas spectrometers and gas chromatography, you know, I don't know what they call it, and analyzed it. And long story short is it ended up being 0.01 or something, you know, something very small of real oud, and the rest was fake oud. And just so they could say there's real oud in there. Very tough. Tough sell. As you see, there are no Fragrance Du Bois bottles in my collection. Although I wouldn't mind smelling one called Sahara, or Sarah, I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's one that I wouldn't mind smelling, but for the most part, the brand doesn't really interest me. But Terence Hughes' brand is interesting. His stuff is pretty good. I mean, he is a rookie perfumer, so, you know, it's not going to be like you're smelling Dominique Ropion or something. He is, the edges are a little rough. The blending is not superior by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not bad. I mean, it's what you would expect a fragrance that in a bottle like this to smell like, you know, if that makes sense. But I'll do a review I'll talk about it. This is an Oriental Woody, and apparently there is real Thai oud and Burmese oud in here, with benzoin and dates and raspberries and ambers and rose and orange and vanilla and ambergris and stuff like that. I don't know if he uses real ambergris or not, but yeah, interesting. Interesting house. Another perfumer, another YouTube brand, another YouTube channel who is now a perfumer. So there's Aaron Terence Hughes' oud from 2020. And also in 2020, there is this little gem, which I wore just within the last couple weeks. I wore this as my scent of the day, and it was actually really good. I really enjoyed it. It's called Beauty Wood by the House of Matriarch, and I've had this for a while, but I actually got a chance to wear it for the first time. And you have to like the note of this cumin-like feel. The wood has this very balsamic cumin, oudy vibe. They say oud instead of cumin, but there's sandalwood, and the sandalwood here is nice. It's really beautiful. I wouldn't compare it with something as, you know, this is up here and this is kind of a little bit lower, but this is still higher quality than most of the sandalwood perfumes you're going to smell nowadays. It's sandalwood, rosewood with cedar blossoms, oud, vanilla, balsams, benzoin, and I think some, you know, maybe a little bit of cumin or some spices like that, you know. It's not bad. It's good. But if you're expecting just a easygoing, woody fragrance, that little bit of cumin might kind of put you off a little bit, or whatever the spices are. Okay, here's one that I also got just to talk about on the channel, and this is probably my favorite Louis Vuitton perfume that I've smelled so far. It came out in 2020, and it's called Nuit de Feu. And Nuit de Feu is Somalian frankincense, black frankincense, incense, leather, ambrette seed, musk, and Assam oud. And it is very good. It's smoky. It's but it has that synthetic, you know, that synthetic Louis Vuitton signature. If you smelled some of their other stuff, go watch my review on Fleur du Désert, and you'll kind of get a feel for what I mean. And so Nuit de Feu, you will get a full review on this very soon. And then we've got a Atat Libre d'Orange, and this is called Exit the King from 2020. Of course, it's from 2020. It wouldn't be on this list if it wasn't. But Exit the King is a synthetic floral fragrance that is supposedly Nepalese Sichuan pepper with aldehydes, musk, and pink pepper, with a heart of jasmine, rose, and lily of the valley, base of patchouli, moss, absolute, sandalwood, and Orchinox, which Orchinox is some sort of a ambrox or ambroxan synthetically produced material. I don't know if it's the name of, you know, one of the houses that owns that type of synthetically produced ambroxan or what, but Orchinox is another name for ambroxan. And so I'll be interested to give that a sniff. I don't think Rich Mitch was too high on that when he did his Eldo sample set series, but we'll see how that plays out. And then a house that I actually did an early impression on one of their fragrances very recently, and I was not impressed. I was actually the opposite of impressed. The one that I wore as a full wear and did a video on was called Petty Shetty from 2021, and I hated it. I was very disappointed in it. But I've got a bunch of samples from the brand, so I will do that again, wear it, talk about it. This is called Love is Lost from 2020. And it's Christian Carbonell, a.k.a. Chris Maurice. He does make good fragrances. This is Calabrian Bergamot with Neroli, Bulgarian Rose with Egyptian Geranium, Indian Jasmine Sambac with Amber, Oak Moss, and Bourbon Vanilla. So, I'll be very excited to give that a sniff. Love is Lost. And then we've got Mellow Yellow. So Mellow Yellow is a creation by Cecile Zarokian. And again, 2020, citrusy and green with lemon, orange, carrot seed, clove, orris absolute, orange blossom absolute, cashmere woods, dry woods, vetiver, and white musk. I can't say, you know, I can't say I'm super excited to give these a try after how terrible Petty Shetty was, but I will. I will be fair. That or I'll just absolutely annihilate them on the video. One that does sound interesting to try is Amberleavable. Probably one of the most cringeworthy names of all time. Amberleavable. Luca Maffei created this one. It's amber scent with LME and Epopanax Lang, like you would expect an amber scent to be, with some woods and vanilla and patchouli in the base. It is compared to, interestingly enough, a Xerjoff I have never smelled, which does not give me hope. Amber Star is what this is compared to. So, yes, that's a little disappointing because I hate Xerjoff. But do you see any Xerjoffs? I own no full bottle. I own no full bottles of Xerjoff, and I own no full bottles of Fragrance Du Bois. Two brands that I am not into. But probably one of the ones I'm most interested in trying is this, called Into the Oud. And the reason I'm most interested in trying it is a Bertrand Duchaufour, one of my favorite perfumers. Unfortunately, it's compared to Oud for Greatness, which I hate. But there you go, Into the Oud. This is orange, pepper, rum, Divana, saffron, and toffee with amber, oak moss, and oud. Oud. So we'll see. We'll see if that's better than Oud for Greatness. Won't take much to be better than Oud for Greatness. Okay, next is a Mancera from 2020, and it's called Saharan Wind. Now, I hate Mancera for the most part. But I got this at such a great price that I figured, what the hell? It's 15 mil. It'll give me an excuse to talk about it on the channel. I never talk about Mancera, so I can either butcher it or, you know. You know what, though? As far as Manceras go, this is not bad. It's, because I have worn this to bed once before. I haven't worn it as my scent of the day yet. But it's got this leathery tobacco spicy thing going on, and there's a note of cypress in here too, which I love. So this one has hope. I'm usually not much into Mancera, but that one has hope. And then, interestingly enough, a Lamar that I actually do not mind is Jean-Paul Gaultier's Lamar Les Parfums from 2020, and it's supposed to be sweet and spicy with cardamom, lavender, iris, vanilla, and oriental woods. I like this better than the just regular Lamar, which I bought a full bottle of, and it literally makes me want to irk. It makes me want to throw up when I smell regular Lamar. And I have a vintage bottle too, so it lasts 28 hours, which is exactly what I need. 28 hours of lavender and vanilla. Okay, next we're going to talk about a fragrance that someone actually just recently left a comment on this video. Maybe I was a little harsh on this, but you can go check out my initial impression. I did say it was too sweet in the opening, and I do stand by that, but I have a different definition of sweet than you may. I don't really care for sweet fragrances for the most part, but this is Vanille Havane by the house of Les Indemodables. And Vanille Havane is a Antoine Lee, probably one of my favorite perfumers, and this is a good fragrance. I mean, I was tough on it because it is sweet, and even smelling it from the atomizer, it's sweet. It's that Comorian vanilla with Colombian cacao and Egyptian jasmine. And, you know, having this 10 ml decant is probably one of the reasons I never went for a full bottle of Tobacco Vanille. But yes, it's good. It's good for the cold weather. I don't think I would buy a full bottle. And then a couple more samples, and then we'll get to the full bottles. I actually did a video on this one already. You can go check it out under my Bortnikov playlist. It's called Sayat Nova. And Sayat Nova is a good fragrance. I would definitely wear this if I had a full bottle. Again, it's a touch sweet, but it's much more bearable here because the notes are so beautiful. The apricot, the rum, the oud, oak moss, it makes the scent. So go watch my review of Sayat Nova. And finally, one I have an early impression coming up very soon, or maybe I'll wait till the weather turns warm again next year, because this is a warm weather fragrance. It's Burlington 1819 from the house of Roja. And so this is an eau de parfum. And it's supposed to be a fresh citrusy. If you look at the note breakdown, it looks like there's all this crazy heavy stuff. You know, rum, tobacco, cumin, labdanum. But in reality, it just smells like a citrusy, fresh cologne-style fragrance. But a very good one. It's not my favorite style. I have full bottles of Pour Monsieur by Chanel and YSL Pour Homme. And go watch my Connections video that I did. And you'll kind of see some of that style carried forward. I own Tiffany for Men, Ungaro Pour L'Homme too. So I could wear those kind of fragrances instead of buying this. But I guess if you didn't have some of those older style citrus heavy masculines, this could be a niche version that you could go for. And then let's do some of these full bottles. So first we'll do this little bad boy. Speaking of sweet, Angel Share by Kilian. Don't ask me why I own this. Why do I own this? It's cognac, oakwood absolute, cinnamon tonka, bean absolute, sandalwood, praline, vanilla, and hazelnut. Praline and hazelnut just want to make me erp. I'm going to pull a Rich Mitch here. If you guys watch the stream, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it is no longer on the internet, so you had to be there, I guess, to understand that reference. It is that bad. It is so sweet. Praline and hazelnut is just... But yes, that is kind of a fan favorite. Go figure. I hate a perfume everyone else loves. Go figure. Why do I own a bottle? I don't know. Okay, next is a Rogue, and I love this fragrance. This is one of my favorite modern fougères, okay? Maybe my favorite modern fougère. Maybe. One of the best. And it's called Bon Monsieur. This is so good. Lavender Absolute, Fir Balsams, Bergamot, Geranium, Carnation, Lily of the Valley, Oak Moss, Patchouli, Cedar, Sandalwood, Musk. Traditional, you know, fougère, and a beautiful one. I actually like wearing this more than something like Drakkar Noir. Although I do like Drakkar Noir. I just like something like Bon Monsieur even more. Excuse me. Smelling that Angel Share from the atomizer almost did me in. Okay, next we're going to talk about one of the best fragrance releases from 2020. If this was ranked, this would be very close to the top. This is Le Lion by Chanel. One of the only bottles in my collection that I regret not getting a bigger size. I wish I should have got the 200 ml. Lemon, bergamot, labdanum, bourbon vanilla, sandalwood, and patchouli. Yes, it does have Shalimar vibes, but this is more about the labdanum to me. Shalimar is more about the vanilla and bergamot and castoreum. And this is more about the labdanum. I love this stuff. So, Chanel's Le Lion. And then, you know, if you're in the hunt for an incense fragrance, I have to say, this is a good one. This is Gucci's A Midnight Stroll from 2020. I do like these bottles, although some people say that they, you know, are a little corny, painted looking, but no one does bottles like this, so I think they're kind of unique. And A Midnight Stroll is an Alberto Morillas creation, and it's a very simple creation. It's cypress with frankincense and cade juniper wood, and it's very, very good. It's a very good incense. You know, one of my favorite Gucci's, I would say. Okay, next we're going to do a Philip Plein. Yes, a Philip Plein, leathery and spicy, called No Limits. How about that? The $1 trillion credit card. Just an absolute badass. I do like this, believe it or not. It does give you vibes of Gucci Guilty Absolute. It also gives you vibes of Nesomato Pardon, but Alberto Morillas made this one as well, actually. And he did some crazy stuff here. He put aquatic notes in the top, which don't belong. He put dark chocolate, which kind of gives you that Pardon vibe. And he put star anise in here, which seems out of place. It just seems like this aquatic star anise is strange, but it is a good fragrance. If you like that style, I'd probably just wear Gucci Guilty Absolute, but at least I have it so I can talk about it. And then we're going to talk about a Guerlain one of my favorite from the L'Homme Ideal line, and this is Extreme. So I like the EDP, and those are the only two I own. This and the EDP are actually the only two I own. And this line is, you know, it's a designer line, okay? It's made for people that are wearing Sauvage and Bleu de Chanel and stuff like that. Obviously, you can't put this in the same bucket as Shalimar and Mitsuko and Le Bleu and Val de Nuit and all the wonderful old Guerlains we all know and love, Abbey Rouge. But for what it is good. It is sweet. It is sweet. But I can stand this one for whatever reason. Thierry Vasser made this. Maybe it's the tobacco and leather in the base with the plum, but I can wear this. It's not going to blow you away if you have a big collection, but it is good. It's wearable. It's good, in my opinion. And in LVMH's infinite wisdom, they did not market this in the United States, only Europe, because they know best. Okay, next is 21 Conduit Street by Javoy. This was actually sent to me in an unboxing yesterday by you-know-who, one of my perfume god people. Thank you. And I am a big fan of the smell of this from the atomizer. I have not had a chance to give it a wear yet. I almost wore it today, but I ended up wearing Kouros. God, Kouros, man. Old Kouros. 21 Conduit Street is a sour citrus with rhubarb and amaretto. So there's this liqueur amaretto note in the heart, apparently, with ambroxan, tonka, and woody notes in the base. And I think this would be a summer banger, actually. Thank you for sending me this, my friend. Very interesting, Javoy. I love this house, too. I love everything about it. I've talked about it before. Everything is premium with Javoy. Okay, 2 left. And you can see we don't have... Actually, 3 left, sorry. We don't have very many full bottles from 2020. We're starting down the... I wonder if 21, 22 will be even less. I'm sure they will. 2020, it took me a while to buy this. I did not buy this right away. I was not happy about this release. This release actually pissed me off. Because I do not think Amouage should be doing flankers, but I got it, and I have to admit, yes, it is good. I still don't think Amouage should be doing flankers, but this is Amouage Interlude Black Iris, the flanker of the great Interlude. So they took out the oregano, and they replaced it with rosemary and violet leaf, and they amped up the Orris Absolute. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's an easier to wear interlude. If you wanted to wear, if your signature scent was interlude and you wanted to wear interlude for the summer and interlude for the winter, this is your summer interlude, and then interlude, real interlude, is your winter interlude. I don't know who the hell would want to wear interlude as a signature scent. For me, it's kind of one of those things where I just put it on and, you know, just admire what the hell this is. I mean, it's like, Jesus. It's like staring at, you know, it's like staring at a painting that is a Picasso, and you're wondering what in the world is going on, all the crazy stuff happening, and, but it's good. I like it. I like it. I like it for the 190 bucks I paid for it, or whatever it was. I do not like it for $350, I'll tell you that. Okay, and the final 2. This was sent to me by Rachel. Thank you, Rachel. This is Plum and Cognac by Sense of Wood. And this is a really good fragrance. Really, really good. Apparently, the person who created this said that they thought about their grandma's backyard when they made this. And their grandma's fragrance from long ago. Apparently, she had a plum tree in her backyard. And so they thought about her grandma's, his grandmother's fragrance mixed with that plum tree is what someone left in the comments. Very interesting. Plum, Rum Absolute, Cinnamon, Peru Balsam, Osmanthus. I love Osmanthus. Immortelle Absolute, Haitian Vetiver, Vanilla, and Cistus. And this is a good fragrance, but it's a winter baby. But it's very good. And I like their bottles. Very unique. And finally, let me put this away. we come to one of my favorite ouds of all time. And this is the 2020 version of Oud Maximus. So there's the note breakdown if you want to pause it and read it. But basically just know it's like 4 different types of ouds with multiple types of amazing rose. Indian rose here is stunning. It's got that frangipani, crazy, you know, flower mixture and magnolia that Bortnikov does so well, with civet and real deer musk. So real oud, real deer musk, amazing rose, spicy, you know, cardamom, pink pepper opening, woody, dirty, you know, like you're smelling fertilizer a little bit in the opening. I love that barnyard oud. One of my favorite ouds. Oud Maximus from Bortnikov. This is the 2020 version, by the way. They do have versions before it, but the reason I'm highlighting it here is because this is the 2020 version. I don't think they've made anything since the 2020 version, though, unfortunately. So I don't know if it's just now forever going to be Oud Maximus 2020, or if it's going to continue to change. But I haven't seen a 21 or 22. So we're keeping it under an hour. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know what your favorites are from 2022. Let me know which of the samples you want to hear talk about first. And yes, in the zoologist set, let me know which ones you want to hear about first there. I'll be wearing those over the next couple weeks. I will be out of pocket for the next couple days. I'm going to be busy, but I will hopefully be back doing videos by the weekend. So thanks for watching, everybody. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you again. Bye now.